to everyone. Welcome once again. Rav Berg with Midrash Darova Parshat BeShalac, the most amazing Parsha. Lots of very important messages for us to learn. I was once walking in the Rova and to my light rail, and I passed two young non-Jews walking along. Walking, and they were talking to each other. The one said to the one, "You know, these Jews, they're always celebrating." And then he heard me behind him, and he turned around, he was kept quiet. And that was the end of that. But I thought to myself, he's so right. We always celebrating. We always have what to celebrate for. And we, in this Parsha, celebrate Emunah, faith. Rav Cook's son, was the Rosh Hashiva of Yeshivat Merkaz Harav after the death of his father. And he passed away something like 40 years ago, Rav Tzvi Yehuda Cook. And I had the merit to be in some of his shurim. And there's a story of how it was Yom Ha'atzmaut, and the yeshiva danced in the night to the kotel to celebrate Yom Ha'atzmaut at the kotel. And Rav Tzvi Yehuda Cook was healthier then, and they drove him in a car. But when he came to the kotel, we went out, and he was surrounded by the students, and singing and saying Tehillim and thanking Hashem for the state of Israel. And someone came up to him and said to him, "Rabbi, for the Rav, you always talk about the Geulah. I don't see Geulah." So Rav Tzvi Yehuda Cook said to him, "All you need is the right glasses. The Geulah is here. The redemption is here. All you need is the right glasses to be able to see that Geulah. Those are the glasses of Emunah." And so Rabbi Elimelech Mirizhatz has an amazing saying where he says that where people who are amazed by the great miracles that Hashem does, and only when they see this great miracle, they look around and they suddenly realize that our life is a miracle. Every day is a miracle. The Chaim HaPshutim, the simple days, have Hashgacha Elyonah, have a higher guidance from Hashem on each normal every day. And we can feel, by seeing the big miracles, we turn our heads and we see the little miracles of day to day. And the question is, over here in our Parsha, why do we need Kriyat Yam Suf? Why did we need the parting of the sea in order to reach this Emunah, this faith? We had the 10 plagues of Israel. What is it all about? Bnei Israel came to Yam Suf, the Egyptians behind them, the big sea in front of them. Perek Yudalet Pasuk Tet, Vayidafu Mitzrim Achrahem. And they reached them on the edge of the sea. And we hear in the Midrash that there were 4 kitot, or standing there. Some people said, "Let's jump into the sea and give up hope." Others said, "Let's go back to Egypt. What do we have to die here for?" Others said, "Let's pray to Hashem." The other group said, No, we'll fight. And Moshe Rabbeinu stands up in his great leadership way. He says, "Hityatzvu ura'u et Yeshuat Hashem." Stand by and you will see the salvation of Hashem. Hashem yelachem lachem. Hashem will fight for you. V'atem tacharishu. And so Hashem, you be quiet. And here we have so the miracles begin. Okay, so now we see the famous verses. Vayar Israel et hayad hagdola asher asa Hashem b'Mitzrayim. They saw this great hand that Hashem did to the Egyptians. Vayiru ha'am et Hashem. They had what's yiru? They had this awe for Hashem. It's not fear of Hashem. It's awe for Hashem. And then through this great awe, we reach the level of Vayaminu b'Hashem Moshe Abdo. They reached this highest level of total faith in Hashem. And that faith enabled us to reach Har Sinai. That faith, that emunah, enabled us to receive the Torah at Har Sinai. I'd like to introduce you to the Sfat Emet, the Ger Rebbe, who passed away 120 years ago, this week in the first week of Shvat. The most amazing set of books on each one of the Chumashim, the most profound thoughts. And the Ger Rebbe in Sfat Emet asked the following question. He said, hey, we see, Vayaminu b'Hashem Moshe Avdo, they believed in Hashem and Moshe. What's the big deal? If we look earlier on in the story, we see that the nation believed. We have this verse in Berg and Vayamen ha'am, the people had faith in Hashem. And say, hey, what's the big deal? Vayaminu b'Hashem Moshe Avdo. Before they had faith in Hashem, says the Sfat Emet, the most profound idea. And he says as follows. He says, Yesh bet emunot. There are two types of faith in Hashem. The one is a lowly type of faith, a natural faith that every Jew has. Av shein adam yodea klum, even though he doesn't, it's not on a high spiritual, learned level, but he has this inner, deep belief in Hashem, which is ingrained in each and every Jew, in his neshama, because he has a special neshama. Above that, we have something else. We have faith in Hashem that comes through a higher spiritual elevation. And that comes through seeing this great miracle. That comes in our day through learning Torah, learning faith in Hashem, to learning how to look at the world through the eyes of faith. And that was Moshe Rabbeinu. Moshe Rabbeinu reached the level of Emunah in Hashem, where he saw, like the Gemara says, Baspaklaria de Nahara, or a clear window. He was so close to Hashem, he saw Hashem as like a clear way through a clear window. And that is the higher level. So to sum up what he says, there's natural faith. We all have this natural faith, but we have to strive to reach the level that we had at Kriyat Yam Suf, Vayaminu b'Hashem Moshe Avdo, a high level of faith in Hashem, which brings us to Nevuah. So, with that, let's go back to the words of Rabbi Elimelech Milizhansk. And he says, after we see a great miracle, like the parting of the sea, we realize that in our simple life, there's so many miracles. Hashgacha Yonah, there's a great the divine guidance from Hashem. And in our natural lives, as Jews, we see miracles each and every day. Now, we learn from Avraham Avinu, Ayin Tovah. So we learn from Avraham Avinu about the Ayin Tovah. Ayin Tovah, good eye. What's an Ayin Tovah? To look at the world through the eyes of optimism. To look at the world through the eyes of good. To look for the good and look to do good. To look at the world through the eyes of Emunah. To see Hashem in everywhere, all around us. And me and you, we have seen in the last year and a half Hashem's hand in history. After starting off on that terrible day of destruction, the Jewish people have risen and fought this amazing war. We've overcome Hamas. Hezbollah fled, ran away. Syria fell apart. Russia's very weakened. We have friends in America who are very protective of us. The world has changed. So with all the hardships and the very difficult things that we've been through, all of us, we have to look around and be encouraged and see the positive, look at the good. And there's so many miracles and there's so much good. And so that's our message today. So at Yam Suf, we saw this amazing parting of the sea, and we became prophets. But that enables us to see all life through the eyes of faith, to look at life through the eyes of Ayin Tovah. And that's the challenge we have, and that's what I'm giving each one of us, the message this week. Let's look at reality through the eyes of faith, and we'll know things are getting better, things will be better, and we will become stronger and stronger as soon as possible. Looking forward to seeing you all soon. Shalom.